Hi and welcome back to the channel. This time I'm gonna show a little bit of different hero. It's one of these heroes that personally I don't really like him. Well, obviously because he's really ugly, but we're gonna show Bane. Bane is one of these heroes that is really solid in the laning stage. He's quite strong, I want to say, and he's really solid in the mid game, right? He has some really good cuts, some really good setup for kills, some really good lane domination. He's really good at trading, and generally he's a hero that you can't really go wrong, right? If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff, aka Razam, and what we mainly do in this channel is we show how to lane, how to learn laning stage with different supports, mainly position 5 and position 4, and we show different examples. We show how to win lanes, how to lose lanes, and how you should approach lanes and have the thought process behind every matchup. So if you're new to the channel, I want to say that this type of guides require a little bit more time and a lot of coffee. And what I would actually ask is, if you can actually comment or subscribe, or generally any interaction would be great. So without wasting time, let's jump into the guide.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
Okay, let us start. Like in any other guide, what we are going to actually do in the very beginning is explain how the hero works. Okay, we will explain how fundamentally it works. So Bane is a lane dominator. Why Bane is a lane dominator? If we think about it, has solid damage, solid armor, and a lot of HP, an ability that allows you to actually steal health from the enemy and get it back. So he's really good at trading. In my mind, he's a combination of Undying and Crystal Maiden. You can actually apply the lane in both ways, right? The problem with Bane, let's say unlike Undying, is that he cannot really trade inside the creep wave. If you see his cast range, it's not really that big. That means you can pull aggro, and then if two people are on top of you, most likely you're gonna die, and we're gonna show examples about that later on. But yeah, that's like the only weakness of the hero. You can't trade 1v2, right? The itemization that I like is usually this one, right? I like to go for stats, and I got to go for a fairy fire because my main source of damage is actually right click. Unlike Crystal Maiden or, for example, Lion, where they usually rely on spamming spells to get them low, usually what you want to do with Bane is actually right click them a lot. In the mid game, the hero is quite simple. What you want to do is find efficient fin script, and what you want to do is like find maybe pickups with Nightmare and set up the kills. The only downside I find on Bane is that in the mid game he gets countered a lot by the meta. Not right now, but generally. For example, a few months ago, where Abaddon and Omni Knight was all over the meta, all of a sudden your Finch Grip that can only be dispellable by strong dispels feels useless. If you get to play versus Silencer, if you get to play versus Oracle, if you get to play, maybe not that much Oracle because, might be out of position. If you get to play by Abaddon or Omni Knight, if you get to play versus these heroes, Bane feels absolutely useless in the mid game, right? The only thing that you're actually good at right now is a laning stage if you get to play versus heroes. But anyway, right now what we're going to do is show up some examples on, in the beginning, how to win lanes and then how to lose lanes, and generally the thought process behind the hero, how you should itemize, how you should actually what skill build you should actually use, how to approach lanes. So without wasting time, let's jump into that, right? So this is the game number one. This is game number one, and this is the itemization that I like the most, right? It gives me mangoes. I need mangoes because if you see, Bane requires a lot of mana, right? And it is not the hero that goes direct for the kill. What does this mean? Just like any position 5, even Undying, what you want to do is always build up the kill potential. Unlike the position 4, if you've seen the Hoodwin guide, you don't really go direct for the kill. The hero just doesn't do that. Since you rely on right clicks, you just need to right click a lot, and if you see the opportunity, then you will, if you see the opportunity, then you'll just go for the kill, right? And right now I have an Anti-Mage. Now, Anti-Mage is one of these heroes that personally I hate the most, right? I think he's really hard to play with, and pretty much this is a really hard anti-mage in my opinion. He gets countered by LC. Techies is okay versus him. I mean, in theory he get to pick anti-mage, so you won't die from bombs, but usually you end up dying. Ursa is a lot of physical damage. This Raptor counters him with Glimpse and Kinetic Field and Static Storm. Generally it's really hard anti-mage. So what does this mean for us? It means that we have to do everything in our power to actually make sure that anti-mage is going to get out of the lane happy. The problem with Antimates is sadly that he doesn't have a power spike in the lane. What does this mean is that unlike a Draw Ranger, a PA, a Phantom Latcher, he's not going to get to level 6 and get out of there. Or unlike Terrorblade, Wraith King, Morphling, or Naga, he will not get level 5, 6, 7, 8. So he doesn't even scales with level, he just needs Battle Fury. And on top of that, if he plays from behind, it's so hard for him to actually come back, right? Because he doesn't have farming potential. So the first thing that I like doing with Bane is to slip people and get sort of that and get the rune. This is like a little bit doubled, like it's a little bit hard, but I feel like it's a lot of mana. This is actually as much mana as a Clarity, but I feel like it is the best thing you can do, right? Why not like be as efficient as possible? And right now I get to play with the Techies and the LC. Now, if you don't know this combo, it's just so much damage. Techies, for example, blast off a gajillion damage, a gajillion second silence, and LC moment of courage, so much sustain, right? What does this mean for me as Bane is that I cannot get to trade with Techies because I know he's in the end he's just gonna suicide, and I'm not even gonna get the kill, right? But I know that blast off, if you check here, has a big cooldown. So right now I actually threat to right click with him. The way I play Bane is that if you trade well with the other support, just go for it, throw him out of the lane, focus on the position 3. And this is usually what happens, right? I throw him out of the lane, instantly he understands that he cannot trade with me because this is on cooldown. And then all of a sudden, what do we do? Like we've learned that from other guides, if someone is alone, you just go for him and you just instantly just to right click him as much as possible, right? And lastly, we instantly get the first blood. I can't stress that enough. I know it seems so easy and so stupid at the same time, but when someone is alone, you will just kill him early on, level 1, level 2. Sometimes you don't even wait for the level 2 power spike, which by the way on Bane is really good. With Antimates, like, meh, it's not that great, you know, I mean, he gets blink, but that's pretty much it. So the way to win lanes is either abuse level 2 power spike, or whenever you find a 2v1 scenario, you just go for that. And right now, LC is dead. What do? We instantly go and attack Techies, right? Think about it. What's gonna happen to the lane? I'm gonna need a lot of consumables. Techies just gonna blow up all over the place. LC literally just trades so well with us. So what do you think should be my items right now? Right? You imagine it's gonna be Salve and it's gonna be Tangos, and of course a lane ward is always really good to place it here. And what do we do right now? Trade good with the position 4. Now that's a little bit tricky. If I trade well with Techies and he's like, I don't know, like 200, 300 HP, I can get to slip him, right click him, and then just blow him up with Brains Up, right? So even if he can blow up, maybe I'll never give him the chance to do so, right? Perfect. I really want you to show you something. Do you see these right clicks? These are right clicks that do matter, right? He goes for the creep. You will receive 2 to 3 right clicks, and on top of that, as I told you in the beginning, Bane is a type of hero that cannot trade into the creep wave. So whenever you have opportunity to scrub with the enemy position 3, I'm gonna point that out. Enemy position 3, you get to do that. This is like even that. Do you see that picture? It's 2v1, right? Whenever you find 2v1, you just go for that. Every right click matters. I've seen so many support just lying around, you know, fucking around, like staying AFK. Don't do that. Like just right click the enemy, right? It's just so important. Right click the enemy. Now, also, I want to say, you know, point that out that this is a game that I got mad a little bit because we got the first blood and I was hoping that my Antimates is gonna get Ring, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna get Ring of Health, but he went for a more aggressive. And what does this build mean for me? More Tangos, more Salves, right? And sadly, when you get to play with the Antimate or Terrorblade or Morphling, you have to go all in with them, right? Sadly, you can't really play around other cores. You just have to play around these heroes, right? So what do you think we should do right now? Honestly, we have level, we're about to get level 2, right? And they're like level 1. So the moment we have level 2, what do we see? Like we instantly force. Even this right click, look at that. Do you see how great, like, the moment we get level 2, both of us, we try to be aggressive. I'm like, okay, LC has level 1. He doesn't have overwhelming ult. He doesn't have Prezi attack. All he has is his passive, which I don't really care. Heroes like LC, Bristleback, Huskar, Mother. People are just afraid of them. But guys, like level 1, level 2, like even level 3, they're not that strong. Monkey King, even level 1. They're not that strong. What if he gets Jingu? What if he gets Quill Spray? Doesn't matter. This hero scales with levels, but level 1, they're just so weak. Just like LC. Okay? At this point, we just try to get the most before they get level 2. Okay? And if you see the CS, we're really good. So, trying to trade with him. Why do I trade with him right now? Look at that. I can't go and trade inside the creeper right now. There's a creep wave. So I'm like, I'm just gonna bull this guy, right? Now, this is what I tried to do and just trick him a little bit. I'm like, okay, I think it was like too premature. I called my antimates, didn't work out, and shit happens, right? Probably at this point you have two options. Either use salve or use salve and suicide, or just use salve and try to be more efficient. What I chose was use salve and try to scrub with the ember. At this point, I have no pull. I can't really do anything. You know, the lane is pushed. I can't really trade with him. He's almost under tower. If the lane is here, the best thing you can do is actually trade. Is actually pull. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna actually place a ward to help my Pagna. And what do you do? More consumables go back to the lane. Okay. This guy just fucked up here. He dies. And at this moment, what do? I know it sounds as stupid as it is, but what you want to do is salve my antimates, because my antimates didn't go for a ring. Sadly for me, that means a lot of sacrifice. And again, if you have nothing better to do, right? You have nothing better to do, then you might as well just move around the map. But right now, I know that Tech is just, you know, suicide. He's not here, right? He just used suicide. I was like a little bit afraid, but look at that. I see that Else is alone. I'm checking here that no one is here, right? I just get to man fight him. I can't really do that, but with a little bit of assist, this can happen, right? We can actually bully him. I really want you to show that. And this is what I mean, Bane is a lane dominator. Right now I'm just literally man fighting. I see that he has no mana, right? And I get to man fight an Elsie as a level 2 Bane, right? My right clicks matter, right? It's really, really good. And all of a sudden, I was also baiting because I have the Fairy Fire, I have also the Brain Sap. That's really good. Now, usually go for the 0-1-1 build, right? Now, do you want level 2 Nightmare or level 2 Brain Sap? And that is up to you depending on the matchup. What does this mean? I'm gonna show, like, if I have 2 melee heroes like Spiritbreaker and Marci on top of my face, probably my right click doesn't really matter that much because I need to right click a lot, and most likely they're gonna kill me. You know, they're just gonna charge on me, dispose me, just right click me a lot. So I need an ability to actually fight them back. Brain Sap will give me a lot of health. Now, if I'm playing versus some kind of Rubik that, you know, I actually trade really good with, I'm gonna go for the Nightmare for 2 reasons. It triples the damage, like damage per second from 5 to 15. It's actually, you know, it actually matters. And the second thing is I get to have more right clicks on top of the opponent. And of course, we're a hero that has a lot of damage. So yeah, I think it depends on the matchup. For example, this guy's alone. Look at that. I go for, let's go back. I go for level 2 sleep. Why do I get to go for level 2 sleep? Most likely because I want to sleep him at 50% HP, maybe 40% HP, where he can't actually suicide and die, and get the most out of it. And in the end, look at that. Get right clicks and just kill him, right? Finish him off. Never gives him an opportunity. That's why the most time he slept, the more time I can actually deal with him and actually get him low and just kill him before he suicides. Lastly, I don't know why else he doesn't have his Q. No idea, but I should have died there. At this moment, I have no consumables, no mana. If you have one or the other, you should actually use them before you suicide, but I choose to suicide, right? At this moment, yes, what would my items be? They're actually here on the courier. And I should actually get a salve. I don't have them on courier. I could actually get a salve. There you go. Just because anti-mage, I'm actually fucking around a little bit here. I thought, like, I don't know, brain lag. I thought I didn't have a salve, and I didn't salve him. I gave him a tango. But yeah, right now, we try the same thing, right? What does this mean? That means that, you know, 2v1 scenario, I didn't see Techies, you know, I get to trade with him, but the lane is actually really, really, really good, right? Anti-mage doesn't really have a lot of CS, but this is a lane that anti-mage versus LC, if you're a post 1 player, you know that this is almost unbearable. You don't even have to try to win the lane. So I get to die on the mines, and this is where, that's pretty bad, right? That's pretty bad. What do you think you should do? Well, I cannot leave my anti-mage alone. I cannot rotate. The lane is still not lost. But what I need to do is run back and actually babysit him, right? And look what happens here. And this is why I like Bane, and this is a little bit into the mid game. Do you see this LC? I'm like, okay, he's alone. Hit him, hit him, hit him. And all of a sudden I slip him. And this is a setup, right? Level 2, it is a setup for my team to come and just come and, you know, LC just dies at this moment, right? At this moment, I'm actually happy. And look at that. LC just died. I have 22 seconds. Time for me to move on. You have 2 options. And this is how I want to end the game. Deal with this guy, 2v1. You see how the slave, how Nightmare actually works. Or you can actually pull, 7 minutes in, get jungle items, right? This is also, by the way, a not that easy matchup. This is actually not easy matchup. At this moment, I chose, you know, time to move on, time to gank. You see that the right click matters, and right now, have nothing better to do. I might as well help a little bit with the rune, and, you know, from now on, the game continues, right? In the end, net worth-wise, I think, you know, being anti-mage more, like, even if it's equal, it is a 1 lane. That's what I mean. It's as bad as a matchup, even if it's 1. Even if these 2 guys have the same amount of gold, it's actually a 1 lane. Okay, this is matchup 1, and this is why I want to show you that Bane is so strong that you can actually even man-fight heroes like LC. Not as strong as Undying, not as weak as Crystal Maiden, but at the same time, he doesn't have the spells of neither of those. He actually tries to right-click a lot with the Nightmare, and if, you know, you want to trade, you just use Brains Up. This is just example number 1, but right now I want to show the strength of Bane and get to show you what you can do with heroes that are supposed to be lane dominators, and all of a sudden, your right-clicks do matter. So let's jump into that and see what's going on. This is game number 2, and I get to play with the Luna. We have the Bane Luna, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to have to the offlane. I thought it was Necrophos plus Wisp. Intended up to be Necrophos with Shadow Demon. Regardless, both of these heroes are quite spammy, so you need to adapt to your itemization. So definitely a stick if you get to play versus Bristleback, versus Wisps, versus this kind of spammy heroes, maybe even like something like Marci Snapfire, but definitely Necrophos is one of the spammy heroes that constantly wants to push and pressure you under tower. What's the downside of Necrophos? Let's click on the hero to like learn a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of armor. And once his Q is on cooldown, he actually has nothing else to fight you back, right? So we said that Bane struggles to like fight into the creep wave, and Necrophos loves to be into the creep wave and actually push it. So it's actually not that easy of a matchup, right? By the way, I want to say that I usually start running towards here just to see if someone goes back, and I get to see him. Probably he's gonna have a ward here, okay? So what do you think you should do? I just realized I say so a lot. So what do you think we should do? A, steal the bounty rune, right? Now I get to deward that. That's classic. That's really good generally. You know, some really good gold. I'm just checking, and guess what? No one comes here, so no one need to go for Nightmare, right? I don't know why they didn't contest, but all of a sudden, look at that. I have already 3 poison stacks and a lot of damage. What do you think I should get as my first item? Consumables. More consumables. I already started the lane with 50% HP, right? More consumables. Do you see that? And more mangoes. Like, I didn't have mangoes. I like mangoes on the hero. And look what I do. Like, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, because in the lane, spells, right click. I really want to, like, make that clear. The team, usually the duo that has more spells, usually is a team that's gonna win. Like Snapfire Mars, usually they don't right click you down, they just punch you out, like spear you, jump, and the Q from Snapfire, I can't recall the name, and rebuke, and you're just dead, you know. Hoodwink, not even that, like Sanking Lena, they don't right click you down. Spells are more important than right clicks early on. So if you see, I'm like right clicking, brains up. Why do I brains up instantly? Because I think I'm gonna lose a lot of health, and I want my health and my mana to be balanced out. And on top of that, I have a lot of stick. So I really want on 10 sticks to actually use that. And what do we want to do as Bane? We say that trade with a position 4, throw him out of the lane, and then this guy's alone, right? Do you see how this guy's alone? Click him, zone him out, and I just man-fight him. You have nothing else. I really want to point that out. Do you see how much right clicks we actually managed to pull off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he got 1. Do you see that? And of course, regen is on its way. So even if I trade unfavorably, that's okay. So what do we do right now? Creep wave, trade with a position 4. The same thing. Trade. I see that they try to... Let's go back a little bit. I see they try to 2v1 me there. So I'm like, I don't really like that. Like I'm just gonna lose that that trade, right? So I'm just chilling a little bit. Perfect. And I'm just trying to dodge, you know, if you get 5 if you get 5 stacks from Shadow Demon, you just die right now. And wait, and you see how I just dodge that? I'm like, okay, I can fight right now. And look at that. Fight, and I slip him. And I try to right click as much as possible, right? I really want to point that out. I can't really trade, let's go back. I really cannot trade inside the creep wave with the Necrophos. Do you see all these creeps? If I go and attack him inside the creep wave, I'm just going to grab all the aggro. And this is how you lose lane. Unfavorable trade. As simple as that. If you just don't trade efficient, then you'll just you lose a lane. That's simple as that. So I thought, okay, I have a lot of right click with my Luna, right? I realized that I was level 2 because I got the ward. So my Luna was not level 2 yet. So that's a little bit too soon. But again, just right click. And of course, right now, I'm just running, okay? What do you think we should do? And this is what I mean. Okay, let's go back. And this is where the trade starts. I really want you to show that. This is the best scenario that you can have as Bane, right? He doesn't have a lot of mana. What does this mean for us, even though he has a mango? That he will struggle a lot to use 5 stacks on me, right? This is an okay matchup, as long as Necrophos is below level 3. Level 3 is usually where Necrophos stabilizes in the lane, right? He starts to become quite strong. But Luna has a lot of damage, you know, has a lot of damage as a hero. It's not like Necrophos doesn't, but Luna has a lot of really better animation. So whenever you find the opportunity to trade with the other support, of course, you just go for it, right? Trade, and instantly that just brains up, right? And I see, look at that. I see that the Necrophos just coming here. I'm just trading all the time. Sleep, trading all the time. And look at that. The fact that I just died there means absolutely nothing. I'm gonna show why. Right? Look how much research. Like, I have no research, by the way. Think about that. I have literally no resources right now. I'm literally no health, no mana, and this is a full health Shadow Demon, right? And on top of that, I want you to show that, right? My Luna is free farming. Yes, I get to give first blood, which is like pretty, I want to say bad, but generally first blood is a lot of gold. But I'm pretty fine with that because I get to come back in the lane and then they have nothing to deal with me, right? Perfect. Look at that. Giving my items. Sleep. 2v1 instantly. Instantly. You see that? I know that Shadow Demon is behind. Look at that. And right now, this guy's out of the lane, honestly. He's out of the lane. I really want you to see that. Like, no hesitation. Even if this guy, let's say, like, he has nothing to work with. No hesitation, sleep. And I want you to show that Necrophos, okay, he uses Q. But then what, you know? Like, he has nothing else. Okay, he used Q, but we don't care. You know, he's not that strong. 2 heroes, if like, that's a problem with ranged heroes. Like, if you see, like, the most ranged hero, like Sniper and Draw Ranger. If 2 people are in front of you with full HP, you just die. End of story. And you always find these opportunities, right? So we end up finding this kill. Honestly, I forgot to block this camp, so I guess a little bit my bad. And I get to single pull. Why do I single pull? Guys, I'm gonna say that in every guide. Single pull is fine, right? All you want to do is my Luna, like, worst case scenario, if I get to play with Luna, let's think about it. I want her to get levels. The more levels she has, the faster she can farm, right? So every time you can do a single pull to keep the creep wave there, right? That's good. Now, what do you think I should get? And it depends on the situation. You see how I don't really skill? I don't really skill a spell. I'm not really sure what I want right now. And look at that. This is perfect for them. Shadow Demon realized that, and this is like really strong, that I can trade into the creep wave. This is how, by the way, you play versus Clockwork 5s and like all these weird things, right? Like, I can't go into the creep wave. They give me, like, Shadow Demon smartly plays on the right side. I can't go there, you know? I need to, like, waste so much time. Right? So what do I do in the meantime? Just pull. Have nothing better to do. Right-click it as fast as possible, right? So the creep wave is gonna meet here. But in the end, it doesn't matter if it's even under tower. I don't let them pull here. And look at that. They just try to waste time, but Bane high movement speed, right? Look at that. And let's go a little bit back. Right? Level 2 sleep, I'm like, okay, it's a 1v1. So all of a sudden, in 1v1, right clicks do matter. Okay, right clicks the main source. In 2v2, spells are just too much damage, most likely you're gonna die. But in 1v1, hit him all the time, just dodge a little bit. I realize that most likely he has some kind of word there, like he somehow sees me like this, what I felt. So yeah, and all of a sudden, space created. Meanwhile, my Luna is just farming. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. I'm just trading here. I have the stick, right? And look at that. I slip Shadow Demon instantly. Why instantly? Because he is going to be the one that's going to activate the Shadow Potion. So what I want to do is disengage from all of them. Because, you know, it's not like Necrophos is a really slow hero, like movement wise. Do you see? Really slow. So I'm just going to disengage and look at that. I'm using the stick. Let's go back a little bit. I'm using the stick before this guy is unslept. Sleeping. And I'm using stick before it expires. I get to leave. Salve. Perfect. At this point, I'm confidently going to say that lane is 1, right? 46 for my Luna, that's most likely uncontested, right? 16. Right? At this moment, you know, like from now on, just doesn't matter that much. I get to move a lot. And I think that the laning stage is over. I just showed you, you know, finding good opportunities. They just wasted a lot of time. They can't deal with the, you know, deal with the Bane. They can't deal with the Luna. We kept the lane under tower as much as possible. We single pulled a lot. We brought a crap load of regen because they have a lot of spammy. It's a lot of spam as a lane. And that's fine. I think at this moment, you know, you can just see the CS. You can see the net worth. And I gave first blood, by the way. I gave first blood. It's okay. And even if I gave first blood, you see that me and Shadow Demon, who got first blood, actually have the same net worth, okay? I think that's a really good example. It shows the strength of Bane. It shows why this hero is strong, and he's actually as strong in the mid game as in the lane stage. So let's jump to another example and see, you know, another good lane. Not maybe that great, but it's another good example to get to see that. This is example number 3, and right now I get played with the Razor. Now, Bane is a lane dominator. Razor is a lane dominator, if you think about it, right? So if we somehow split the lane into 1v1s individual, then it should be like an easy matchup. What does this mean for me is that, really, like, to simplify that, I'm gonna have a Mars, Kotal. The two heroes individual are not that strong. The two heroes together are really strong. Okay, so you try to split the meta because Kotal in a 1v1 is absolutely, what am I saying? Yeah, probably that's my Smurf. Nice. It's the Kotal, like, individual as a hero is absolutely, like, so bad in 1v1 trading. So bad, right? So I guess we get to see that. Oh, there's a Kotal here, and you know, as I said, like, just trading. I'm just gonna show numbers. Kotal, no armor, no damage. But if we get speared into Illuminate, they're just gonna kill us quite easily. So let's go back a little bit to show you that. This is the walk I told you in the very beginning. I wanted to walk and see, you know, what's going on. Maybe they scouted something. I'm like, okay, Kotal. I get to click him. He has a hole in the items here, so that's gonna be a ward. So here what I thought, okay, am I gonna kill this ward? No. Most likely I would if I had some other hero, but my Razor is really strong level 2 and even stronger level 3. Right, so I'm like, just get the free XP, man. I'm gonna get the gold. What are we gonna do? Right, try to snipe the I try to kill with the Nightmare, like, to slip him and get the bound rune. That's fine. And I'm just trading. You see how I'm just trading? I'm just chasing this Kotal. I have nothing better to do, honestly. Like, this 2v1 is fine, but the problem is that Nightmare that I got level 1 with Link just doesn't really work out. Okay? So all I have to do is make sure that I don't feed that much in the lane. And once we get level 3, I think Razor is quite strong to just run down this Marci. And look at my items. This is a lane that I like. Even if I get Windlace, that doesn't really make that much sense, you know, because Kotal is just super fast as a hero. All we want them is to get them 40% HP, 50% HP, 30% HP, for them to be there, and my Razor will just deny everything. That's the game plan. This is how you win lanes. If you kill them, that's cool. But if they're, you know, low health and they don't contest, practically in the real world, inside the game, it's like they're dead, you know. That's the best slip I've ever seen, by the way. Okay, and yeah, in my mind, like the way I think about it, it's probably I would just buy the Ring of Regen so I can actually trade a little bit better. Yeah, like trade a little bit better. Trading, hit, and you see like I'm just trying not to be inside the creep wave that much, right? Otherwise, I just pull creeps and that's a little bit annoying. Perfect. We're just chilling, you know. I'm just gonna show CS. We're just chilling. As long as the creep wave is here, I'm happy. This, like, if you play position 5, this is what you want to do. If the creep wave is almost under your tower, then your position 1 farms most of the times free. It is a matter of levels until we actually get to dominate them, right? And I just find opportunities to like screw up with this Kotal. That's all I want to do. Why do I do this sleep? Because I want to screw up with them as much as possible. So look at that, I get to sleep them. That's a little bit like tactic for the mid lane. If you have a Pagna mid, for example, you just get to sleep them and deny 2 creeps. That's like really important, right? Mars tries to screw up with me. No, I'm just too fast of a hero, wasted a lot of time. At this point, they're just fighting around. And why does he do that? Honestly, he has nothing better to do, and of course, I'm just baiting. Honestly, if you see Mars, like, it's so hard for him to play with a Razor, right? And of course, they can never kill me, right? If I don't get speared into a tree. And right now, I'm just pretending. What does this mean? There you go. I just slip him. I'm just use salve. I'm like, high five. He has nothing better to do. I want to say the laning stage is over at this moment, right? Already, the laning stage is over. Of course, I get to have a Razor in the safe lane, right? I get to have a Razor in the safe lane, which is really strong. And look at that. Let's go a little bit back. Static link. You get speared back, but still, this is like 2v1. Why is this a 2v1? Kotal is like a non-factor. If he doesn't have Illuminate, this here is like he does not exist in the lane, at least at their levels, you know, level 2, level 3. Where am I? And then look at that, I'm just trying to body block that. Doesn't work out. But look at him. Practically, he's dead. He can never contest right now. So that's a really good example, right? To like how to deal like really strong lane domination. I get to pull at this moment. We try to find kill, and look at that. We just get to deny creep wave, right? I think it's a really good example, and I really want to go to some examples that, you know, the lane stage. Look at that. Let's go back a little bit. Even if you get like to spear me, they don't really have a lot of damage. I can already like stick and just brains up, and I should be fine, right? On the edge, I should be fine, most likely. At this moment, you know, it just the lane is easy. I think you can just tell by the networks, right? Let's go to another game though, which the game didn't really feel that easy. I felt I also misunderstood the lane. And yeah, let's jump to an example where, you know, you think like Bane is strong, but not as strong as we would want to. So let's jump into that. It's like a new example, and right now we have to have Bane, and you get to see our starting items. You know, I will not buy stick this time. I know that I'm gonna first a Dawnbreaker and a Marci. 2 melee heroes that can instantly jump on top of me. So as you understand, that's a little bit, you know, tough as a matchup. And this is like a laning stage that we actually lost. Okay, we actually lost. Now, this is like one of these matchups, and I feel like Bane as a hero is quite simple. The only hard thing that you have in the mid game is positioning and who you want to grip. And the laning stage is just like Undying. When do you die and when not to die? For example, with other heroes like Crystal Maiden, Lion, if you've seen other guys, Hoodwink, the answer is you always die. Like, it's simple as that. If 2 people are on top of you, you're always dying. If you're playing Undying, you know, most likely you're not gonna die, and you're gonna use some kind of DK, Tombstone, and you're just gonna fight them back. With Bane, you have to balance things out. For example, this matchup is not as simple as possible, but if you screw up the positioning, just like I did, then you'll die. If I was playing, for example, something like Crystal Maiden, this lane is, I can tell confidently, 1. Double melee versus Crystal Maiden or Lich or Jack Hero, as long as you just keep positioning, but with, you know, this type of heroes, you know that you want to play defensive, that's fine. Anyway, the game starts. What do you think we should do? Steal the rune, right? On top of that, if just because Nightmare is a lot of mana, and if you go to Clarities, it gives as much mana as the Nightmare. Instead of that, you can just get to bring a Clarity, but I like the stats and get to bring the Clarity later on, you know. Sleep this guy, and he just chased me. I check at his items, right? I honestly check at his items. I'm like, Marci is not that strong. He has no stats, and he can never use this ability again. How is like so? He doesn't have spells. All he has is right click. I'm like, okay, I'm so confident. You know, he hits tango, I hit tango. I'm so confident. I'm just gonna win. You know, I just attack move, just so confident. You know. And there you go. I just fucked up here. I should probably just keep trading with him. In the meantime, I get to lane with the Void, right? I get to lane with the Void. Void is one of these heroes that sometimes he's strong, sometimes he's not strong. He's really good at trading, but the problem with this hero is that they can lock you down, and you might not be able to use Time Walk efficiently, right? So my plan is simple. Don't get caught. Scrub with this Marci as much as possible, and that should be fine. 2v1 scenario, try to trade with him, and once Marci is here, I'm like afraid. You see like my positioning? I'm just super afraid. And I like how Marci like learned her lesson, so she can't really trade with me. If I can get some right clicks on top of that, that's great. Other than that, I just get some right clicks on top of that. On top of them. If you know, I just don't want to commit too much. And the lane is pushed, so I'm actually happy because Void is a type of hero that he doesn't really have. I mean, his level 2 is not that bad, but he doesn't have a bad power spike. Like time dilation is pretty cool generally, right? You see how I receive a lot of damage here, and this is what I mean. Unfavorable trading. Went into the creep wave. It was pushed. Really good play by Dawnbreaker. He actually punished me so hard. What does this mean for me? A crap load of regen again. Right? I just want to like. Do you see how I just play defensive here? Why do I play defensive? They have level 2. I have level 1. I'm like, okay, I might as well just wait a little bit. You know. I'm just checking if Mars is here. And at this moment, you know, I feel like okay, I can trade with Marci. I'm here, you know. Even if I get disposed, I can trade with Marci. I'm also under tower, so yeah, like most likely I'm gonna survive. And if they jump on me, go to the laning stage. Pool, nothing better to do. And right now, ideally I want level 3 to get level 2 brains up for sure. Okay. Here I thought okay, I really want to like deal with the pool and just right click, and that was like my bad. I'm just trying to create like space, you know. But this is the type of death that you can say maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not worth it, because it just wastes so much time, right? And so much resources, you know. 1, 2, 3, like all their spells, all their mana. So maybe like ideally I went greedy and just a nightmare and right click while I could just run, but I'm like I'm gonna get the most out of it. Yeah. Meanwhile, my Void is farming. These type of deaths are fine. The problem is that, you know, if you die once, it's fine. If you die twice, is if you die 3 times, this is like where they just get too much of a level advantage. Perfect. He's alone, so we try to screw this guy up, and this is what I mean. Let's go back. I feel like look at this picture, right? This is what I mean. If they jump on you, you will struggle, and just so easy for them to struggle me. If the laning stage is like if the lane equilibrium is not here, right? Look at my match. Right, I use all like I just need to disengage. Just right click here. I feel safe under my tower. I'm like, okay, Jeff. If I get level 3, then you know I still don't skill that. But right now, do you see that? It's just not enough. It's honestly not enough. Let's see that again. I underestimate that. I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of baiting here. I'm like, okay, they're gonna jump on me. I'm gonna brain sap. My Void is gonna bass. but never lucky. You know, this guy just never does. And we get the return kill, right? But it's a fine kill. For me, it's a fine kill. CS-wise, we're doing really good. But here's what I thought. Okay, if we have the same exact scenario and I have raindrops, that means that the dispose, where is dispose? It's not gonna be it's magical damage, so I'm not gonna get damage from there. Maybe if I have like, let's see that. If I have 70 more health, I'm gonna be under tower, right? With 70 more health, I'm gonna be under tower. But sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? Sometimes you have this idea, I'm like, okay, raindrops. Let's go, you know. Running back to the lane, right? We see that he's alone, and look at that. I just used my brains up. My void dies. I'm like, okay, it's okay. We're gonna try. We're gonna try once void is back, right? And look at that. I never had the chance to even react. This is what it means to be out of position. You think you're strong, I'm like, okay, I can bait him. Even if he jumps on me, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna go for that. But I never had the chance. At this moment, I can say that even, you know, CS-wise, you know, it's really good. I felt like the laning stage is over, right? Because right now, they can just jump on us every time and just kill us. What does this mean, though, as a Bane, when the lane is lost? I'm gonna go back to the lane and just play super defensive, or I'm just gonna make other moves, right? I went to the Batrider, try to help him a little bit, and what they do, back to the top lane, play a little bit defensive, and I feel like the best thing I could have is late XP, because we want to have level 6 by 10 minutes in, right? We want to do that. Right now I'm just trying to go for jungle items, as we said from other guides. And this guy's alone, we try to, like, to deal with him. That's not gonna happen. At this moment, you know, I don't want to say the lane stage. I want to say it's lost, right? Because it's just so hard for us to play right now, and especially for me, you know. He's level 5. I'm like, okay, can we do something here? Apparently not. They can just jump on me and they can just kill me. And you get to see how I just get to die again. At this moment, I really struggle to have a game. This is, like, I want to say, not that great of a laning stage. CS-wise, we're doing fine. Net worth-wise, we're doing fine. This is not an easy matchup, but again, with a little bit better positioning and a little bit of respecting more the opponents, we should have a way better laning stage. Sadly, I fucked things up. And let's jump to our last example, where I completely misunderstood what I should have done in the lane. This was a laning stage that I understood what I was supposed to do. I just underperformed. But let's go to a laning stage that I completely missed and just fucked up the laning stage. Let's jump into that, and probably it's gonna be our last example. Welcome back. This is gonna be my last example on Bane, and this is going to be a lane that we actually lost, and we lost quite hard. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, sometimes shit happens, even in the upper brackets. So we get to play. I have an Ursa with me, which is, like, really fun, and I get to play with Spiritbreaker and the Beastmaster. So again, it's a double melee, and again, it's one of these matchups that if you have some, like, Jaktiro elites or Crystal Maiden, you know that you have to play more defensive. So what I thought is, okay, Ursa is okay versus Beastmaster. I'm fine versus Spiritbreaker. You know, Spiritbreaker, by the way, a gajillion health, a gajillion armor, a gajillion damage. It's so hard for him to play. So I don't contest here. I'm like, okay, what I need to do is like what we did with the Razor. I just get to right click a lot with him. Now, do I trade well with Spiritbreaker? The answer is no. I trade okay, but look at that. Just because I tried to bait him to be under tower, you see? I tried to bait to be under tower. What I missed in the whole laning stage, and I don't know how this happened, but, you know, sometimes it just happens, is that when you get to play versus Beastmaster, you need to deal with the boars. You need to somehow kill the boars. What's the problem with Bane is that low range and not really a reliable spell to actually deal with them, right? For example, Brain Sub is like 75 damage, it has like 300, right? You see how I just tried to do that and just fail. And what I should have done instead is the moment the laning starts, I'm already here dealing with that, right? Dealing with one of the boars. Because when I try to do that, it's just a little bit too late. The creep wave is already being pushed, right? And look at that. They just trade with me. And all of a sudden, it's just so hard. It's just so hard for me to do anything. Already buying tangos. more consumables. And right now, what I thought is, okay, Jeff, you're gonna trade with this. You're gonna trade with the Spiritbreaker, and I really want to bait him to be under tower to do that. And look at that, I just trade with him. I'm like, okay, not the best trade, but okay, I'm just like here. I'm trying to make the most out of it, but in the meantime, Beastmaster, the more level he gets, the harder it becomes, for sure, right? And this is like a laning stage that my carry got tilted a lot. Like, you see how we try to deal with that, we deal with the boars, and sadly, it didn't happen consistently, right? So even this boar, what probably I should have done is like that, slip this guy, try to kill the boar. In the, like, what I chose to do is like, look at that. Try to deal with the Spiritbreaker, which I should probably avoid him the whole laning stage, right? The whole laning stage I should probably avoid him. The lane is pushing, and usually when the lane is pushed, you have two options. Pull, which then don't let him, or pressure the enemies under tower. And this is what they did, and we struggle a lot, right? Sadly, I don't have an ability to deal with that huge creep wave. So I'm just trying to, you see, I'm just trying to deal with that, and they just find, like, even that scenario is a 2v1 here, right? You see that? I'm just a non-factor at this point. What can I do? Like, I can't help him disengage, right? And at this moment, like, CS-wise, we're doing fine. But look at that. This is like the scenario I was thinking. I'm gonna be under tower. I'm gonna have, like, the buff. Look at that. I'm gonna have the buff here. And at this moment, the carry says, dude, like, can you do anything about the boars? At this moment. You see, I also go for the level 2 brings up. I'm like, even if we get the kill, it means absolutely nothing, by the way. It's like, even if we get the kill, like, it's not really gonna help me because Spiritbreaker is type of hero that doesn't really consume, you know, mana or something. Like in the Shadow Demon example, what he uses in mainly right clicks, right? So Shadow Demon as a hero just requires XP, right? At this moment, this guy's level 3, level 2 boars, and it is just so hard for us, like, to deal with him. And right now, you see, I try to deal with the boar, but we actually just, at this point, I confidently want to say the laning stage is over. The fact that Ursa has a lot of CS means absolutely nothing. It is a matter of time, right? I try to deny, I try not to, like, to half pull here, just so my Ursa is going to have something to work with. But I feel like instead of 3 creeps, I just have pulled 2. And look at that, they just go under tower, and like, personally, I feel like we're just such in big trouble, right? I'm just gonna go a little bit fast forward to see what happens if you don't deal with these big heroes early on, right? They're gonna get level 4, level 5, and level 6, and just so hard. You see that right now, we just struggle to disengage so hard, salving, but that's not gonna be enough. For them, it's so easy to harass, right? They have the boars, they have the Beastmaster aura. It's just so hard for us to play that. And again, this is one of the laning states that if I have something like Crystal Maiden, it becomes so much easier. But if I have something like a Bane, where my right click is not as strong as the opponent, all of a sudden I lose my strength, right? And of course, look at that. I lose, I don't understand the laning stage properly, and we just fucked up. Catapult, 5 level on Beastmaster at this point. Just trying to get the most out of them, like with me, but not gonna happen. This time the laning stage is over. Let's go a little bit faster. I get my level 6 here, right? We have lost the tower. Net worth wise, I'm gonna show Beastmaster is way ahead from my Ursa, right? Which is, it can happen, right? But again, if I were to play better, I got my level 6, and sometimes I felt, okay, we can do something here, and my Ursa didn't commit instantly, and we both die. And at this point, the laning stage is over, and the game most likely is over, okay? And if I want to be realistic, it is my fault. And this is also the hardest thing. I'm sorry for that. Hello, thank you. This is the hardest thing to do with Bane. When do I die? When do I not die? When I'm strong? When I'm not strong? And of course, you have to understand some matchups like Beastmaster, which totally slipped out of my head. That's the guide. What I wanted to talk is about itemization. So let's jump into itemization and talk a little bit about the hero into the mid game, and generally do a sum up about the guide. So let's jump into that. All right, this is gonna be the last section, the last thing I want to say about the hero. And Bane, usually, you are a little bit one-dimensional hero in the mid-game. As we said in the very beginning, if you get to play versus Omni Knights, Abaddons, Oracles, Silencers, then you find yourself in a really tough situation. Most likely, I would max Nightmare, right? Nightmare is the only reason you just max it is not the damage or the duration, it's mainly for the cast range. What you want to do is being able to find like Nightmare people, like a setup. It's like 5, 6, 7 seconds. It doesn't matter, and then just people are gonna come and you'll find a kill. On top of that, it's really good because you are going to Nightmare, like find them, and then you like most likely you'll get them because there's a lot of, the cast range a lot. Sometimes you just struggle. If you go for full brains up, you'll just struggle a lot to actually catch people with only 500 cast range. Now, as I said, Bane is quite one-dimensional. What does this one-dimensional mean? That you usually just get Etherlands because all you care is to find a really good ultimate so no one can stop you. Now, that means that you will find yourself going for Arcane Butch into Etherlands. Okay? What does this mean though? If you're playing from ahead, this is doable. But what if you play from behind? If you think about it, if you get to play versus NS and NS just blinks on you and just silence you, probably Etherland is not the way to go. Probably you need the 4-staff. If you have a Slark jumping on top of you, probably you need the 4-staff. What I try to say is that make sure you itemize yourself according to the game. Now, I've seen some people going for Aghanims after Etherlands, or going for BKB, or going for Gleaming Cape. Guys, Aghanims is a great item. I highly suggest it. I don't like Aghs generally on many supports just because it's too expensive and the individual components gives you nothing, right? I mean, Ogre Axe and Point Butcher, okay, they give you a little bit of HP. But that's pretty much it. If you're rich as fuck, you can go for that. If you don't have survivability issues, you can go for that. For example, if you have a lot of frontliners and they have a lot of backlines like Necrophos and Agnas and AAs, yeah, probably you don't even need Glimmer Cape and stuff. You just need Etherlands and they'll never be able to jump on you. But if you play versus spirits and stuff like that and you're playing from behind, then you will struggle a lot. Okay, itemize always according to the game needs, right? For sure. I can't stress that enough. Now, Bane is the type of hero, I want to say that again. I'm not some kind of Bane expert, right? I find the hero quite useful, but that's a good actually. Like this is really good to show you that. This is what I mean, like the cast range on that is just insane, right? Of course I have Etherlands, but this is like a setup, and all of a sudden you see we managed to find the kill here, right? But yeah, Bane is the type of hero that does constantly try to find and make something happen, right? And Etherland is the way to go. Of course, you can go for like other, let's say, crystal maiden items like Glimmer Cape and Force Up. It depends on the game, but what I suggest is Etherlands only if you're playing from ahead. Like if you're playing from ahead, Etherlands is actually buildable. I know it's a little bit it's a little bit expensive as an item, right? Because personally I like Tranquil Boots in support. But yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm just cutting here. I think like the hero is quite simple in the mid game. Lastly, what I want to say is what you want to do is always find when at the moment you have a grip, you want like to smoke triangle, find the grip. People are usually 10, 12 minutes in. They're actually quite spread into the map, and usually one enemy core is going to farm triangle, 100%. Get your position 3, get your position 4 if you have some like Scarlet Mage or if you have a lot of damage. And yeah, like try to smoke the enemy triangle and just find him. That's also really good example to show what I mean. Look at that. Okay, let's go a little bit. Axe, sleep, a gajillion second sounds, ward. I want to position myself. I should probably go a little bit lower, and all of a sudden we just set up a kill. And that's it. That's also a really good example. And this is what you want to do with Bane, right? This is a guide, 2 examples of good laning states and show how Bane, if you understand the matchup correctly, is good. And at the same time, 2 bad matchups, one equal and 1 bad matchup, to understand that, you are not as strong sometimes as you might think. Again, my name is Raza. This is the end of the guide. If you do like this type of content, please do subscribe and comment. It actually helps me a lot and motivates me to keep doing that. If you do want some specific hero, please type below and I will actually take it into consideration. I did the last time and I made a Hoodwink guide. That's it. GG. Hope you find it useful and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.